All right, let's talk about Jaden Daniels here in the Washington Commanders, who had an odd day, right? Obviously, there's the Hail Mary situation, which I already made a video breaking down that play on this channel if you want to see it. But what I'm going to do instead in this video is talk about just the day he had in general, the good and the bad that we saw from him, and maybe are there some things that they need to improve upon? And the answer is yes, especially in the red zone. We'll get into all of that. First, going over to the play that you see on the screen, it's going to be a designed run with Daniels. Daniels had 8 carries for 52 yards in this game, and his rushing ability is just a key aspect of what makes this team work. So, like, for example, the way this play works is he's going to fake a handoff to Brian Robinson towards the offense's left, and he's going to keep the ball himself, move towards the top of the screen. You notice I've circled a Chicago edge rusher right here, because this is kind of the player that has a decision to make. Do you stay out further deep and make sure that you can be aware of a potential Jaden Daniels run, or do you just try to crash in and make sure you can tackle Brian Robinson? Kind of a pick your poison scenario. You see here, he's kind of doing the right thing, usually, of not necessarily selling out to stop the handoff, but waiting until he sees, who has the ball and then trying to attack. He now realizes it's Daniels. The issue is, usually this is the right thing to do, right? But when you have a quarterback who's so explosive like Daniels is, at this point, you've essentially just taken yourself out of the play either way. Because watch how Daniels is able to blow by him, and these are just so difficult plays to stop. It's an easy first down, but it doesn't just do that. Because, okay, you run this play early. What this does to Chicago is they're wondering, hey, Daniels is banged up. Is he going to run the ball? The fact that he does run the ball in a situation like this, now for the rest of the game, you have to be aware that he might run the ball again. So that edge rusher has to stay out on all of these plays. He can't just rush in to tackle Brian Robinson, which allows him to have a better day and allows Austin Eckler to have a better day. And over here, it's not just on designed runs. Obviously, he is, establishing himself as one of the better scramblers in the league right now. This is a 3rd down and 8 situation, and it's zone coverage. So usually when you're in zone coverage, you're not that concerned about a quarterback scrambling because everyone on the field defensively is watching Daniels. Watch as you see when Daniels takes the snap, he's going to scramble outside, but hey, Chicago has a defender ready to make a tackle. No big deal here. It's, not really a scenario where Daniels can throw for the first down, so Chicago feels pretty good about themselves. Except here's the issue is you have to tackle Jaden Daniels. Watch him make that Chicago player miss, picks up the first down, and is able to move the sticks on a 3rd down and 8. I mean, that's a huge play there, and gets out of bounds, able to protect himself, all that good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, again, the rushing ability, people can say, he's just a running back, which people don't really say for him because he's obviously not. But again, running is a real aspect of being a quarterback in today's NFL, it feels like, for most quarterbacks, and he has that for sure. The other aspect is this, where it's a 3rd down and 9 situation. You have a receiver who's going to be running a go route. And, I mean, this is part of why no one says, he's just a running back. Because McLaurin, it's going to be essentially a one-on-one matchup. Watch as Daniels takes a snap. He's going to look in that direction, fires in that direction, throws one up. And, I mean, there's some separation right here for sure, right? This is, Tyreek Stevenson. Hey, this will not be his worst play of the day for Tyreek Stevenson, but definitely getting burned on this one. As you see, Terry McLaurin is able to make the grab. I mean, that's a beautiful throw. And it's one of those things, too, where the second it leaves Daniels' hands, you're just like, and you see it's open. Usually there's like okay, hopefully he made the throw. There isn't even that. As a Washington fan, you're probably already excited, like, here we go, because the deep shot is just, it's so effective. Now, got to go over here. I mean, we got to talk about the red zone situation. Because, as fun as this is to talk about how Daniels played well and how the Commanders won, they nearly lost this game. Even though they really dominated for most of it. I mean, they had, 481 total yards compared to Chicago's 307. Sure, a good chunk of that was on a Hail Mary, but still. The issue was the red zone. They couldn't you couldn't finish drives into the end zone, which, would have allowed them to kind of dominate this game and not have to worry about a Hail Mary. This play is a good example of, what went wrong or what went right for Chicago, depending on how you want to look at it. There's a lot of this. Daniels taking the snap, has time, and again, Washington continues to block well, although Montez Sweat was able to make some plays. They blocked well, I thought, as well, and of course, it helps when Daniels can get outside the pocket, looking down the field, and just doesn't really have a window, have an option right here. Does the right thing, which is, again, that doesn't have room to scramble, so he just throws the ball away. okay, that's a fine play for him to make, but again, not being able to get guys open in the red zone is a key situation. I mean, it's an issue. They have to be better at that. Now, granted, this play nearly worked. This next one, where it's going to be a situation that can work. Part of what has to be mentioned is that red zone passing is difficult, just because there's it's more bunched up, right? Usually, you have 7 players on defense having to cover the entire field. When the entire field is only 10 yards of end zone and 9 yards of regular field, windows just get smaller. It's how the game works. So it's a 3rd down and 4 situation. You see the route on the screen. Daniels is going to take the snap right here, and it's going to be a little bit blurry. You see it's not really wide open, but there is kind of a window. You can throw at least a catchable ball for Zach Ertz. That's what Daniels is going to try and do here. It's a really good throw, honestly, and it was good defense there by Chicago to be able to knock it away. So, okay, got to give them credit for that one. That was Tyreek Stevenson again, who, again, not to keep picking on the guy, did have a very notable pass deflection in the end zone later on in this game. But yeah, I mean, if this gets caught, again, it's a different game here. Instead of it being a 9-0 game, it's I would assume a 13-0 game. It just changes things. It does. And also, like over here, like they essentially had a touchdown that just got drawn off due to this was an ineligible man downfield play that was honestly completely unnecessary. It had nothing to do with the play, but it was a penalty. So had some penalties that hurt them in the red zone as well. That's going to negatively affect things, of course, as well. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, I thought that this was mostly still a really good offensive day. Again, especially from 20 to 20, they were fantastic. And there was a lot of stuff like this, zone coverage. And the Bears are usually really good in their zone coverage concepts of not giving up these over-the-middle routes. However, watch when Daniels takes a snap, runs this play action. I mean, this is a really well-timed ball right there. You see how it gets in between those 2 Chicago players who are over the middle of the field. I mean, again, timing is so important and usually really difficult for a young quarterback to pull off and kind of get down. I think CJ Stroud last year, that was kind of one thing that it took him, I don't know, maybe half the season to really get down. We're not even halfway through the season now, and Daniels has had it down basically since he started. I mean, it's good stuff. As you see, able to hit McLaurin. McLaurin picks up a big gain right there, and they're able to, again, keep moving the ball down the field, get another field goal attempt, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's good stuff here by Daniels. I will say, I think there was maybe some more negatives in this one than your average Daniels game. This play on a 3rd down and 6, you're going to see, there's a couple of this where just not on the same page. I think they were a little bit sloppier in this game. I think that's reasonable to say after this one. You like to see a couple things get cleaned up. But as a whole, I thought this was another really good offensive day. Again, the Bears nearly stole it, and then the Commanders stole it back. That's kind of how it went down. But now playing the Giants again, who were another team that they could have one-handedly had they been able to do more than kick 7 field goals because they scored every possession but no touchdowns. Got to get the ball into the end zone. It'll especially be more important when after the Giants, you play the Steelers and the Eagles. Those teams, you do have to make sure you can come away with 7, and it's not so easy to do against those teams. But if they can find a way to do that, then I think they could go a long way this season. At least that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.